She was a mermaid, a sacred spirit he has foolishly tried to harm. Mr. Okoro fell to his knees, begging for mercy, but Adeze's eyes were cold as the river. In a quiet village of Umoba, there lived a man named Mr. Okoro. He grew up in a family where his father was very strict. His father believed that a man should never show weakness, should always be in control, and must be obeyed without question. Young Okoro watched his father give orders to his mother, sisters, and even neighbors. To Okoro, this was what being a man looked like. As he grew older, Mr. Okoro became tall and strong, with sharp eyes that made people respect or fear him. He was proud of his looks and his strong voice. He believed he was better than the most men in the village because he had some education, unlike many of his peers. Mr. Okoro was also hardworking. He had a large farm filled with yam, cassava, and palm trees. Many villagers admired his success, but they whispered about his pride. He rarely greeted anyone unless they greeted him first. He never admitted he was wrong. One day, during a village festival, Mr. Okoro saw a beautiful young woman named Ada. Ada was different. She was smart, cheerful, and kind to everyone. Her smile could light up the darkest day. Mr. Okoro decided he wanted her. He approached her confidently. Ada, I am Mr. Okoro. You will be my wife one day. Ada laughed softly. Let's see about that, Mr. Okoro. Mr. Okoro didn't like her response, but he was determined. He visited her often, bringing gifts of yam, palm wine, and fine wrapper. Ada was charmed by his confidence at first. He was different from the other men, bold and sure of himself. They started dating, but soon, Mr. Okoro's true nature showed. Ada, don't wear that dress. It is too bright, he would say. Ada, stop laughing so loudly. It is not proper for a woman. Ada, why did you greet that man? You don't need male friends. At first, Ada thought he was just protective, but his words became harsher, his rules stricter. He wanted to control every part of her life. What she wore, who she talked to, and even how she spent her time. Ada grew tired, but she hoped he would change. She remembered the sweet man who brought her gifts, the man who smiled under the moonlight during their early days. But that man was gone. All that was left was Mr. Okoro, the proud, controlling man. One day, they had an argument. Mr. Okoro shouted, "You are nothing without me. I made you who you are." Ada's heart broke. She realized this wasn't love. Love wasn't about control or fear. Love was about respect, kindness, and freedom. That night, Ada packed her small bag. At sunset, she stood at Mr. Okoro's door. "I am leaving," she said softly. Mr. Okoro laughed. "You will come back. You can't survive without me." But Ada didn't look back. She walked away with tears in her eyes, but her heart felt light. Mr. Okoro became a teacher, not because he loved teaching, but because it gave him power. Students feared him, and he enjoyed that fear. It made him feel important, strong, and respected. One day, he was sent to teach in Umaga village. The villagers welcomed him warmly, smiling and offering gifts. But Mr. Okoro didn't care about their kindness. He only cared about being in control. The school in Umaga was small, near a big dark river. The students were quiet, peaceful. But one girl named Adeze was different. She didn't fear him. Her calm eyes made him uncomfortable. Adeze was quiet and beautiful, with deep, dark eyes that seemed to hold secrets. She never caused trouble but always watched. Mr. Okoro hated how calm she was. Like nothing he did could scare her. Mr. Okoro became obsessed with Adeze. He wanted her to fear him, to respect him like the others. But she never flinched, never cried. Her quiet strength made him feel weak inside. One day, Adeze corrected Mr. Okoro's mistake in class. Embarrassed, he punished her harshly. She knelt under the hot sun for hours, but she didn't cry. She just stared at him with those strange knowing eyes. At night, Mr. Okoro couldn't sleep. He thought about Adeze's face, her calm stares, his pride burned. He decided to break her spirit no matter what it took. After class, he called Adeze to his office. He spoke sweetly, trying to win her trust. But Adeze refused his advances. His voice cold and fearless. Mr. Okoro's pride shattered. Angry and humiliated, Mr. Okoro punished Adeze daily. He found reasons to shout at her, beat her, and embarrass her in front of the class. But Adeze never cried. She watched him with quiet eyes, like she was waiting. Weird things started happening. Mr. Okoro heard whispers when alone. His classroom smells like the sea. His mirror reflections sometimes moved differently, but he ignored it, blaming stress. Mama Ifoma, an old woman in the village, saw Mr. Okoro's darkness. She warned him, "Be careful with that girl. The river watches." But Mr. Okoro laughed at her. Mr. Okoro dreamed of drowning. Dark water pulled him down. Adeze stood on the shore, watching with glowing eyes. He woke up gasping, sweating and afraid. But he refused to believe it meant anything. Strange marks appeared on his skin. Thin dark lines like veins filled with ink. They itched and burned, but the doctor couldn't explain them. One day, he saw his reflection smiling even when he wasn't. Its teeth were sharp, its eyes dark. Mr. Okoro smashed the mirror, but the reflection stayed there. The students noticed Mr. Okoro's strange behavior. His skin looked different, scaly in some places. His eyes grew darker, his voice raspier. Whispers filled the school. During an exam, Mr. Okoro accused Adeze of cheating. He tore her paper and insulted her in front of the classroom. Adeze didn't argue. She just stared with those deep, endless eyes. At night, Mr. Okoro heard the river calling his name. He followed the voice, drowned like a moth to fire. But the river was dark and cold, reflecting his fear back at him. Invisible hands grabbed him in his sleep, pulling him towards the water. He woke up drenched in sweat, gasping for breath, salt water dripping from his mouth. Desperate, he visited Mama Ifoma again. She shook her head. "You have offended the water. You must seek forgiveness." But Mr. Okoro's pride wouldn't let him. The marks on his skin grew into rough scales. His voice turned hoarse. His breath smells like rotten fish. His reflection showed a monster staring back. One day, his skin peeled in front of the class. Students screamed and ran. Only Adeze remained, calm, watching him with eyes that glowed faintly blue. Mr. Okoro fled to the river, his body no longer fully human. Adeze followed, her step light, her face calm. "Do you think there would be no prize?" she whispered. Standing by the river, Adeze's leg turned into a shimmering fish tail. She was a mermaid, a sacred spirit he has foolishly tried to harm. Mr. Okoro fell to his knees, begging for mercy, but Adeze's eyes were cold as the river. "You showed no mercy. Why would I?" she replied softly. The river rose like a living creature, water wrapped around Mr. Okoro, dragging him under. He screamed echo, but the water swallowed them whole. When the water grew calm, nothing was left. No body, no sign of Mr. Okoro, only ripple dance where he vanished. The villagers found Mr. Okoro's belongings near the river. His clothes, his shoes, a single shiny scale. Fear spread through Umagu. The next day, Adeze disappeared. Some say she has returned to the rivers. Others believe she was never human, just a spirit in disguise. At night, villagers claimed they heard whispers from the river, Mr. Okoro's voice crying for help, but no one dare go there. The school shut down. No one wanted to teach there. The decks stayed dusty, the walls covered in strange wet stain that never dried. Mr. Okoro's story became a village legend. Parents taught their children, respect others. You never know who they truly are. Years later, a new teacher arrived. He was kind and fair, treating every student with respect. The school slowly came back to life, but the river never forgot. On quiet day, shadows moved beneath its surface. Some claimed they saw Mr. Okoro's face, distorted and lost. Mama Ifoma lived to be very old. She said often, "The river remembers, the sea never forgets. Be careful with hearts you don't understand." One day, a curious child asked, "Was Adeze real?" Mama Ifoma smiled sadly. "Real as the water you drink, real as the face of Mr. Okoro's eyes." The river remained dark and deep, hiding its secrets. Fishermen refused to cast their nets there, afraid of what they might pull up. The story wasn't just about a teacher and a mermaid. It was a lesson about pride, respect, and the dangers of hurting the innocent.